Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Host Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. St. Lucia contemplates vaccine passport. This story takes the lead in our 1071st edition of Caribbean Perspective for Thursday, 18th March 2021. Details after this break.
Did you know that your friends and family can now shop at the food fair from anywhere in the world and you can receive here in Grenada? The food fair and GrenadaMarket.com now makes it possible through secure online shopping and personalized customer service. Simply send your loved ones a list of your preferred items or let them fill an online basket and the items will be available for pickup or delivery. Visit GrenadaMarket.com or thefoodfair.gd today for more details. The new norm. Spread the news.
Welcome back. Will St. Lucia get on board if the travel industry moves ahead with plans for vaccine passports? Solange Alfred of HTS News Force reports on this matter.
A digital vaccine passport. What does this mean for the future of travel? British Airways, which services one of St. Lucia's largest source markets, the UK, has announced the rollout of an app-based travel pass, touted as an easier way for passengers to prove they are safe to travel, having been vaccinated against COVID-19. Now, Prime Minister Alan Chasney says St. Lucia has been readying itself to get on board with the vaccine passport movement.
Government Modernization Unit has already been working with the Ministry of Health for the last 3 weeks on creating an electronic version. So we started off with, as you know, a manual implementation and rollout of the vaccination. I'm hoping that by next week, the electronic version will be done. So we will manually update the database, and it will produce an electronic file for you that you'll access online. But certainly you can also put it into your iPhone or when you're traveling. That would give you an electronic record of your vaccination.
But what of the voluntary rollout of the vaccine? How will this impact persons who are desirous of travel but have opted out of accepting the vaccine?
It was just facilitating for those persons who do want to have it. And many persons who are going to travel are realizing that it is going to be a requirement to be able to travel. Certainly it would be much easier to travel with a vaccine than not traveling without a vaccine. We certainly want to make sure as a government that we're facilitating that process.
But does the island have a say as to whether citizens from St. Lucia will give into accepting vaccination passports as a means of travel in the future? According to Minister for Economic Development, Guy Joseph, St. Lucia will comply with the decisions taken by leading nations and global health agencies.
If you see the discussions that are taking place on the international arena about a COVID-certified passport or something to show that if you're going to travel internationally, that you can present your COVID certificate to show that you have been properly vaccinated. The world is not very clear as yet. The officials, they are not very clear as to which direction this is going to go. But I think within the next month or two, we should get a much clearer direction. Because remember, we are part of the global response to COVID. You have PAHO, you have the CDC, you have the leading countries, you have WHO. These are the people who would set what the agenda is that the rest of the world would follow.
For its part, the World Health Organization has cautioned against vaccine passports for international travel for numerous reasons, including ethical considerations surrounding equitable distribution of the vaccine globally and the length of immunity provided by licensed COVID-19 vaccines. Solange Alfred, HTS News Force.
Over in Antigua, Sir Malwin Joseph is expecting the 27,000 mark on vaccination to be reached by the end of this week. While public vaccination at the 4 sites has been paused, Minister Joseph says the focus continues on critical groups, including people 65 years and older.
We also believe that we have an appreciable number of elderly to be vaccinated. And what we have decided is to use our clinics. And in each village, the nurses will be visiting, making home visits to ensure that we identify all the elderly people and bring them to be vaccinated.
Sir Malwin says no effort will be spared in getting the country's elderly because they, along with those people who have underlying illnesses, are most at risk of severe illness from the coronavirus.
We're also going into the private elderly homes to make sure that they're all vaccinated. The most important group for this first phase is those who are 65 and older, and those who have comorbidities or underlying issues.
Yes.
And I believe, I'm confident actually that we will succeed in meeting our goal.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
Even as Guyana received US $61 million on Thursday as payment for its 5th lift of oil from the Starbuck block, Minister of Natural Resources Vikram Bharat says how the money is spent will be decided upon by the cabinet. Guyana now has a total of US $267 million in its Natural Resources Fund in the Federal Bank of the United States of America. HGP's Wendell Badri has some details.
While the minister informed that the $61 million received by the country accounts for the 5th lift, which was extracted sometime in February, he ventured further to see how that money is spent will have to be decided upon by cabinet. He did give some insight as to what might take priority, however.
I've mentioned several times that we will use proceeds, direct proceeds from the oil and gas sector to ensure that we have world-class healthcare system, we have world-class education system, which are two of the most important sectors, you know it. Agriculture is important for us because we can become the food basket, truly become the food basket, and there are so many other sectors that we can use proceeds to develop.
The minister posited that Ghana now has a total of $267 million in its Natural Resources Fund in the Federal Bank of the United States of America. Barrett further spoke to learning from the mistakes of other countries as it relates to how the wealth from its oil resources are expended.
And that is the advantage we actually have, that we can look at the mistakes made and the poor decision made by other oil producing countries. So we don't have to go through that trial and error actually. We can learn from their mistakes and to correct that and to ensure that we manage the sector in a more efficient manner.
The minister, who was speaking on the sidelines of an event recently, also revealed that by 2024, Ghana is expected to be producing at least 500,000 barrels of oil per day, as 2 more FPSOs are expected to begin production by that time. Coupled with this, the minister spoke of other blocks, such as the Kanji and the Kaichor blocks, being drilled very soon. This reporter inquired of the minister whether there was a rush to extract the country's newfound resource, to which he retorted.
I don't think that we are rushing. As a matter of fact, if I may say so, it should have happened earlier.
Bart explained that studies from around the world have shown that by 2040 and beyond, it is expected that the demand for fossil fuel will constantly decline, as renewable energy has now become the main aim for several countries in the world over. Meanwhile, on the subject of local content, the minister revealed that his government will be seeking to move to legislation sometime soon so that Guyanese can benefit from the sector as would be mandated by law, as opposed to just policy.
We will move at some point in time to legislation, to have local content legislation in place. Because a policy is one thing, but legislation, I think, is even better to ensure that there are compliance by oil companies.
Wendell Badri, HGP Nightly News.
Jamaica on Monday received 14,400 doses of coronavirus COVID-19 vaccines through the COVAX facility, becoming the first country in the Caribbean to get the allocation of the vaccine from the global effort of the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, CEPI. The Vaccine Alliance, Gavi, UNICEF, and the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, and the World Health Organization, WHO. PAHO's revolving fund, which is responsible for the procurement of COVID-19 vaccines for the countries of the Americas under the COVAX facility, sent 14,400 doses of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine manufactured by SK Bioscience of South Korea. The arrival of these first vaccines will serve to protect priority groups and those most at risk, such as health workers and older adults. Monday's delivery was part of the first phase of deliveries for Jamaica, and more vaccines are expected to arrive throughout the year. The island is expected to continue receiving doses through May until it reaches 124,800, the amount specified by COVAX. Since the first case of COVID-19 was reported in Jamaica, the country has recorded 31,305 confirmed cases and 492 deaths as a result of the virus, according to official data from the country. 15 Caribbean countries will receive just over 2.1 million doses of the COVAX vaccines by May. They include Grenada and other members of the OECS. 6 of these countries, Dominica, Grenada, Guyana, Haiti, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, will receive the vaccines free. COVAX seeks to provide vaccines for at least 20% of the population of each participating country during 2021. In this first round of vaccine allocation, all COVAX participating countries will receive doses to vaccinate between 2.2 and 2.6% of their population. The only exceptions are small island developing states, which will receive an allocation of vaccines to cover between 16 and 20% of their population, due to the high logistical cost of delivering small quantities of vaccines.
Calling all vehicle owners, inspection and licensing continues, and at Hubbard's we want you to be ready. From February 16th to March 31st, registration numbers 2,501 to 5,000 with single registration letter, or registration numbers 251 to 500 with plural registration letters will receive 11% off new torque tires and PowerMax batteries. Don't get caught unprepared. Visit us today at the Motor Department in Mount Gay or the Tire Bay in Grand Anse near to the building supplies.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.